And we're back, Beer Fueled Fantasy family. It is week 7, Saturday before, so it's time to go over all those injuries and let you know what the impact will be to your fantasy football lineups. I'm Nick Sparts, as always, here on Saturday. Christopher Hopper is going to be your Monday to Friday analyst on this show. Tuesday, Thursday is usually going to be Dan Thury. I'm here Wednesday and Saturday doing your start sits and in and outs. If you have any start and sit questions here before you go into Sunday's lineup, please tweet them at BeerFueledFF on Twitter, and we'll be happy to answer those for you live here on YouTube Sunday mornings at about 10:30 Central Time, 11:30 Eastern. If you're way out in Pacific, it'll be about 8:30 in the morning. So I hope you can wake up and join us, get some coffee, and we'll go over the inactives and let you know what's going on. Let's jump into the news, though, and then we'll talk about all the injuries. The two major pieces of news I have for teams that aren't going this week, or players that it's not injury related. Kenny Britt apparently is in danger of getting cut per the Cleveland Plains dealer. He basically got sent home last week after missing curfew. He wasn't going to play that game, but they sent him and Corey Coleman home after missing curfew. He's basically on thin ice. I do expect him probably to get cut here soon because they're looking for good role model veterans, and he's not living up to their expectations. The other piece of news for a team that is on bye this week is Detroit Lions' Golden Tate. Shoulder is apparently in a sling, according to the Detroit Free Press. So he's expected to miss multiple weeks after the bye. So they're going to be off bye here after week 7. Probably expect him back week 10 is probably what we're looking at right now. Let's jump into the games, though. We got 14 here to cover, and I do want to rush through these so it doesn't take you guys too much time listening to me ramble on. Let's start off with the Titans and Browns, one of our highest injury games. Corey Davis is out again, wide receiver for the Titans. He should be back after the Titans are off by week 8, so week 9, expect to see the return of Corey Davis. I do like his upside in this offense, as this team can put up 250 to 350 passing yards a week, and I think he is the most skilled receiver on that team. So if you can stash him here during his bye week and hold him, I think he might be a nice benefit to you going down the stretch. DeMarco Murray is questionable with his hamstring injury. He has gotten limited practices in all week, but it's not looking good. I currently do not expect him to go. Even if he does go and is active, expect him to be second in touches to Henry by a significant margin. I would prefer starting Henry this week, though I'm not a huge fan of starting either because the Cleveland defense is no joke. When it comes to the running game, at least. We'll get to the passing game momentarily. Delaney Walker also injured his calf in practice Thursday, and I'm also not expecting him to play. Right now, I'm recommending that if you need a tight end fill in this week, you go get Jonnu Smith. Cleveland Browns are the worst team in the NFL against, or second worst team, I'm sorry. The Giants are the worst team in the NFL against tight ends. Cleveland is the second worst. And so Jonnu Smith has shown a little bit of flash this season as a rookie. He should get 6+ targets, and he should be able to take advantage of a bad Cleveland defense. In addition, back on the Browns side here, Kenny Britt is questionable with a groin and knee injuries again. He's already on thin ice. I do think they roll him out here and basically say, hey, we know you're dinged up, but you got to show us something. Play through the pain and at least show us that you can go out there and put in an effort. But he shouldn't even be held in redraft leagues anymore, so just wave goodbye to him. If you got him in Dynasty, I still think he's a hold just in case he lands somewhere else and his situation improves. Cornerback Jason McCourty is questionable with an ankle injury he developed on Friday's practice. Currently, I didn't know this, he's the top-ranked cornerback according to PFF, and he's on an atrocious Browns defense. So if he misses, this is going to go straight dumpster fire in a hurry for the Browns. They're already bottom 5. They'd probably go to the worst in the league. And then Jabril Peppers, their safety, is also questionable with a toe injury. He is expected to go, but if he also misses, we're talking historically bad pass defenses, and start every Titan you can who catches the football. On to Bengals and Steelers. This one will be quick. Bengals are only missing one player of significance, and that's cornerback Adam Jones. He's doubtful. It's reportedly not going to play, which is, if you're an Antonio Brown owner, this is great news because historically Adam Jones has had Antonio Brown's number. So if you got Antonio Brown, pluses to you this week. On the Steelers side, Marcus Gilbert is doubtful, is expected to miss, and they've really struggled with pass protection when he's not been in there. Their run game's still generally been pretty solid, though this is a tough Bengals defense. But, man, teams have just been able to tee off on Ben Roethlisberger whenever Gilbert's been out this season. He's missed a few games already. The biggest one of note would be the Jacksonville game where he just got wrecked. On to Ravens and Vikings. Ravens are missing so many people. Terrence West is out again. Rashard Perryman and Max Williams are missing after they got hurt in week 6. Mike Wallace had a back injury in practice on Thursday. He missed the last 2 days. He's questionable, but I think he's less likely to play. Jeremy Maclin is questionable with the same shoulder injury that caused him to miss last week. I think he's slightly more likely to play than Wallace, but I don't expect either. I would try to avoid starting either of them because at best they're going to be hobbled. Benjamin Watson is dealing with a knee injury, but he's played through it the last couple of weeks. He should go. Brandon Williams is expected to suit up for the first time in over a month after leaving with a foot injury. That does drastically improve this run defense, so do bring back your McKinnon ranking a little bit this week. Jimmy Smith and Ladarius Webb are both questionable, but both should suit up, so it's going to be the defense should be mostly healthy. The offense for the Ravens is going to be complete dumpster fire status. On the Vikings side, they're missing the three same players they were missing last week: Sam Bradford, Stephon Diggs, and Nick Easton. Defense looks to be fully healthy, so this should be a defensive slugfest without a lot of scoring. Final score is going to be something like 17-6 Vikings. It's not going to be a high fantasy scoring game. I think Thielen, Rudolph, and McKinnon are probably the only three startable fantasy players out of this matchup. On to Jets and Dolphins. Jets are fully healthy, it looks like. They don't have any major issues. Wilkerson's questionable but expected to go, so don't even worry about them. Dolphins not so nice on their side. Devontae Parker is still missing practice with his ankle injury and is listed as doubtful. Don't expect him to suit up, so get him into an IR slot as soon as he's declared out and pick somebody else up. And then center Mike Pouncey, and the good news is return to practice Friday and is expected to play despite his questionable tag, so the run game should be at full swing against a bad Jets run defense. Buccaneers at Bills. So the Buccaneers continue their trend of having 6 or 7 people missing on their defensive side of the ball and be having one of the worst defenses in the NFL. So defensive ends Noah Spence and Ryan Russell and cornerback Jamarcus Robinson are all out. Russell and Robinson are depth pieces, but they need all the depth they can get at this point. And then questionable, they got Levante David, Quan Alexander, TJ Ward, and Robert Ayers. Expect at least 1 or 2 of those guys to miss in this defense to continue to be terrible, but they're also not facing the highest powered offense with the Bills. Jameis Winston is questionable with a shoulder, but it's been reported he was fine on Friday's practice. He won't be 100%, but he will be playing here, so no Fitzpatrick revenge game against the Bills this week. Jordan Matthews' return to practice is questionable with a thumb injury. It's expected that he's not going to go, but it is possible if he returns that he could be a solid flex play against a really bad Buccaneers pass defense. On to Panthers at the Bears. Linebacker Luke Kuechly has been ruled out with his concussion, so expect a slight bump to Howard and Cohen. Wide receiver Kelvin Benjamin is dealing with a swollen knee after he got an injection on the site earlier this week, but currently it is expected that he goes. Ron Rivera was kind enough to tell us that if the probable tag still existed, he would have the probable tag, not the questionable tag. And then running back Benny Cunningham is questionable with a hamstring injury. They're expecting him to suit up, but if he doesn't, Cohen does jump up into a flex-worthy consideration. So do keep an eye on that. And if you own Cohen, shift him into your lineup if Cunningham doesn't go, because that should mean an extra 5 or 6 touches for him. Saints Packers. Wide receiver Willie Snead is questionable with his hamstring injury. He should suit up because he did suit up last week with the same issue, but still expect him to be limited, and I would not start him under any circumstances. For the Packers, they have no skill injuries, but they're missing pretty much their entire secondary, and they're missing a good chunk of their interior offensive line, and both their tackles are dinged up. So this offense should be sputtering. The Saints actually have a very respectable pass rush, so expect them to get after Hundley a lot, and I think this game's going to get ugly in a hurry as the Saints can pass all over that defense. Cardinals-Rams are playing in London. Andre Ellington is questionable with a quad, but he didn't practice Thursday and Friday, so don't expect him to play. It should be the Adrian Peterson show completely this week. And then the Rams have nobody of note who's expected to miss, so they look like they're at full strength. Cowboys and 49ers as we jump into the 3 o'clock games here. Cowboys have finally gotten their defense mostly healthy. They're only missing Chidobe Awuzie this week. Previous weeks they've had up to 3 or 4 pieces of their secondary out, so this should actually be close to a full-strength Cowboys defense. Still not a great defense, but it shouldn't be completely atrocious like it's been to start the year. And then the 49ers are only missing Kyle Juszczyk on offense, but their defense, they have 5 starters questionable, so expect them to be missing at least 2 to 3 of those and to be pretty limited there. Seahawks at the Giants in New York here. Guard Luke Joeckel is out, hurting an already terrible offensive line, so don't expect that run game to get any better this week. Cliff Averill, defensive end, is out, and looks like he will be for some time. There are some rumors that he even may be contemplating retirement, though they've tried to squash those rumors. Running back CJ Prosise is listed as questionable, but he is expected to return this week as the main pass-catching back, and I actually kind of like him as a kind of YOLO-type start this week. Running back Paul Perkins is out again with his rib injury. Defensive end Oliver Vernon is out again for the Giants. And then wide receiver Sterling Shepard is questionable with an ankle, but he did get practice in all week. He's going to be one of the main targeted players. He tends to run out of the slot, which is where you can actually attack the Seahawks defense, is in the middle. So I actually don't dislike him in a start, especially if you're in any sort of half-point or full-point PPR league, because he should get 5 or 6 catches kind of as his floor. Broncos at Chargers here as we're getting into the last couple of games. Wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders is out with an ankle injury. He should miss multiple weeks. The replacement is Benny Fowler. Benny Fowler has actually had some pretty serious touchdown upside. Simeon likes looking at him in the red zone. And if he's got decent volume, expect him to be an actual okay safe floor flex play. Running back Melvin Gordon is questionable with a shoulder injury. He played through the same injury last week, though. Got limited practices in all week, so he should be good to go. But just be aware of it. And if you're in a really, really deep league and own Gordon, Austin Eckler, Brandon Oliver may not be a bad idea to hold as a handcuff. And lastly, Keenan Allen was a late addition to the injury report with a shoulder injury. He landed on his shoulder in Thursday's practice. It's currently expected that he plays, but don't expect him to be 100%. Still should get his standard 10-plus targets, though, because it's Keenan Allen. Last 2 games here were Sunday night. Falcons at Patriots. The Falcons, coming off their bye week, are fully healthy and ready to go. The Patriots are absolutely decimated in their secondary. So offensively, no skill players to worry about, but they're missing cornerback Stephon Gilmore and defensive back Eric Rowe, who primarily plays out of the slot. So you expect just massive upside here for the entire Falcons passing game. Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Taylor Gabriel, Mohamed Sanu, who's back, Austin Hooper are all startable this week. Lastly, we've got Redskins at Eagles, the Monday night game. Cornerback Josh Norman has been declared out as of this morning. Rashard Breeland is questionable, but I'd say less likely to go than he is to go. He's got dealing with an MCL strain, which is really tough. So the Eagles offense should be doing a great job and flying high against this team. Wentz is a great start. Jeffrey's a good start this week. I pretty much like this entire passing game against this decimated Washington secondary. And then offensive tackle Trent Williams is expected to play, but he's dealing with a ligament tear, or a ligament injury, I should say, in his knee. It is deemed pretty serious, and he'll probably need surgery in the offseason to repair it. So don't expect him to be at 100% for the entire rest of the year, and that does hurt that offensive line. And that's something where he could re-aggravate the injury, make it worse, and be done for the year. So keep a close eye on him and be cautious with your Redskins players. Speaking of that, Rob Kelly is questionable with an ankle injury, but it is expected that he returns into the starting role Monday night. And then lastly, last player on the list this week, Wendell Smallwood is questionable with a knee injury, but we should see his return. He's going to be primarily in the pass-catching role and change of pace back. So he's kind of the Kamara to Blunt being Ingram in this scenario. But I do like Smallwood a lot as a flex play. The pass-catching work against a Redskins defense can actually be relatively effective. So thank you so much for checking in. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you want to get more content like this 7 days a week. As I mentioned, we'll be back here 10:30 in the morning Central Time tomorrow before kickoff, just to go over lineups, start sit questions and actives, and let you know everything you need to get everything set for kickoff at noon. Please tweet at us at BeerFueledFF with any questions you've got, and we even have a thread started so you can throw your start sit questions on the thread for us to answer live on air. And thank you so much for checking in. We'll catch you guys next time. Later.